Okay, now our today's topic is the most trending topic, the more futuristic topic, the most futuristic topic also, future of AI, agentic AI. What is your understanding or what is your knowledge on agentic AI? What do you know about this? By we have been hearing about this right from this year mainly. I mean, 2025. This topic has been trending in AI. Many companies are talking about this. Many articles, many videos. YouTube is also trending on this topic. What is your understanding or knowledge on agentic AI?
Yeah, it's a paradigm where systems are designed as collection of specialist agents, right? Specific, which does specific tasks, which can plan and execute specific tasks and with a goal in mind.
Okay,
Um, and they can adapt as well.
okay,
So based on context, it will use more like reasoning and then plan like properly based on context. What like user is requested, what we can do more like that.
hmm, okay,
So they can be semi-autonomous or autonomous.
Now, yeah, there is a keyword, special keyword.
So
hmm,
agent AI is semi-autonomous. I think agentic is more autonomous.
hmm, okay,
But you need guardrails or put man in the middle to make sure uh, it's not going off, off guard. Is it?
okay. Arun,
And you give context and the MCP, right?
hmm,
For it to understand how to interact. So MCP is basically like an adapter.
okay.
Um,
Wow,
so yeah.
Vasu, Visu,
It's more like understands user requests process and also take decision.
okay, okay. That is important. Okay,
So take decision.
Interrelated to two systems.
huh?
Interrelated two systems getting the
Multiple, yeah. I think autonomous is one, goal oriented is one, right?
Hmm.
Plan and execute based on the goals, and it should be able to take decisions autonomously,
hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Autonomous is
but within the
one of the
guardrails.
key
Yeah, that's
properties
it.
actually. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Visu. You're on mute.
Visu annada కనపట్టే నాకు డ్రాప్ అయిపోయాడా ఆరుగులో
Drop అయిపోడా
ఆడి లేడు
ఓకే ఓకే
అనుకుంటా విసు.
ఓకే 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 Okay, yeah. So all are correct. You have some basic understanding. Yeah. So here, so before going for the definition and all, and the first we need to understand where is this. Yeah, we need to understand the problems. The problems are the limitations in the smart AI chatbots. Okay, we have built chatbots. We have implemented RAG based chatbots. If you see the difference, right? We built very static chatbot where it exactly works like a Q&A application, right? Question and answer
Exactly.
application. So here we have an LLM. Okay, when we started uh, uh, implementation of chatbots, we built a static, actually very static chatbot, right? We built a chatbot application. This is chatbot application. Okay, this chatbot application basically connects to LLM. Basically, then LLM actually returns the response back. This is actually request and this is actually response. This is
Mhm.
very traditional chatbot basically. Like when I say traditional, here user will basically use the chatbot and give the question and prompt. Basically, you will ask the question here. The request actually goes to LLM. LLM uses its knowledge and then generates the response and then gives back to chart. I mean that application, chatbot application. So here, if you remember, when ChatGPT was launched in 2023 November or December, this was the first version actually. I mean the ChatGPT was actually exactly like this. Like, I mean, it was very static. Very static means we gave the prompt, we got the response. Okay, we tried with some latest data also, right? Like some current data and all, some prompts and some current events. Okay, when we when we asked some current events when it was introduced, that chat gpt was not able to answer because chat gpt, whatever version which was given to the public, that got trained till June or something 2023 only. June 2023, whatever the initial version I'm talking about, that LLM basically that version actually got trained till June 2023 only. Whatever events occurred or whatever data available after June 2023, the chart GPT initially chart. I'm talking about the not the current one. Current one has improved one. There are many advanced implementations in the current GPT. They added agentic AI and all, many things are there. Don't compare with this was. I was talking about the first version of chat GPT. First version of chat GPT has many limitations. It answered whatever data it knew that till that time, like June 2023, it answered. Okay, when the current events are the data which is available on the internet also it didn't answer. Okay, because internet always, I mean, current data will be there, new data will be there, right? And even it didn't connect to internet and ask fetch the data from internet also. We used to get the responses like I don't have any access to current data, whatever data I have, I mean, till that knowledge only I have, and giving the response. It was like that. This is the first version of chatbot. Okay, and and so we we implemented. I mean, this is how the initial version, right? Initial version, and when whenever we have our own data, then we came up with RAG solution. I mean, we kept here and then use that. That again, that is, I mean, with RAG setup, actually, LLM will be able to answer the queries for our own data. Okay, this is next level improvement of the chatbot. Okay, so this also has limitations like when we implement RAG framework, that could answer the data which is actually which has there in the, I mean, vector database, and based on even its knowledge also. I mean, that LLM's knowledge also. Okay, so this is next level, next version of chatbot. Basically, this is actually, I mean, next level of smart bot, whatever we're talking about. Okay, so here these are all, I mean, like there are no external actions, there are no, I mean, other actions inside the application. There are some requests, so there are prompts from the user. Those prompts will directly go to LLM, and LLM will use the prompts to generate the response and give it back to the client. So that is how it works actually. I mean, this is basically, we can say it is a Gen AI application. Okay, it is a Gen AI application which doesn't do any actions. It doesn't take any decisions like there here you have a database, and there is a call to that. It doesn't take that. It doesn't know how to connect to that, way to go that, way to access that database and all. It doesn't know. So these are all, I mean, these are all very static in nature. And to address or to solve some real-time problems, whatever we have currently, this approach, basically this framework or this approach actually doesn't solve that. Okay, so what are our current problems? Like in your I mean, in your application, you have a system where it should do some actions, and it should take some decisions, autonomous decisions, and interaction among the some components. You have a scenario like that. Okay, but those I mean, functionalities cannot be implemented in this approach or with this approach. Okay, even though if you use RAG, even though you use RAG, still, I mean, we cannot achieve that functionality. Okay, so then what is the solution for that? So solution for that is actually agentic AI. Okay, so agentic AI, so what exactly it is? Okay, so we will take one real time example, and then we'll come back to the definition. Okay, what exactly agentic AI. So here you have a, imagine you have a system. Basically, you have a technology or whatever, you have an application which just doesn't wait for some responses like the static responses from LLM, but it should do some actions. Basically, it should initiate some activities, and it should act on some of the actions, and it should take some decisions also autonomously, and achieve a goal. Actually, achieve a particular goal, whatever goal is assigned to that, that should achieve that, basically. Okay, if you are thinking about, I mean, if you are imagining, or if you're thinking about that kind of application, so that is actually here agentic AI. Okay, so here basically whatever properties here we discussed, right? Taking the decisions autonomously and initiating the actions and calling the some external services. Okay, why do you need to call external services? So you have a database. If you want to get the data from database and then use it for in your application, use it in your application. Currently, what we already implemented NL application actually, right? Natural language to SQL implementation. So there also, without agentic AI, we did it, but there is a tight coupling, right? So here you have a Postgres DB, and in our chatbot application, basically you have written a code to call Postgres DB. Okay, so whenever in the future you have one more database, here you have Oracle. So if you want to connect to Oracle, this code, whatever you implemented this code, right? This code doesn't work because this code is specifically for Postgres DB. Here we are using some Postgres drivers and implemented this component, right? So this doesn't work with any other database other than PostgreSDB. If you want to connect to Oracle database, here again you have to write a component with some Oracle drivers and then call this another database, Oracle database. Okay, so in the future, basically, I mean, if you are adding data sources like this to the existing system, this will become more complex actually. Like managing all these the custom components in the single application, it's not easy. So it will become more complex, and maintenance will be a big problem in the future actually. Okay, so these are all the problems. These are all the problems in the current setup. If you want to achieve all of them with one framework, that is actually called agentic AI framework. Okay, so this is what actually agentic AI, and how to implement this, and how to deploy and then use it for your applications, that we will discuss. But this is the overall idea actually. Okay, the high level idea of this agentic AI. So by definition it is simple actually. Okay, agentic AI is nothing but an application, AI application, basically AI application, which actually does all these operations actually, which this application can initiate the actions, which can act on some actions, which can call some external services. Okay, and which can take the decisions autonomously. Okay, and it can interact with other agents also, like coordination. It can coordinate with other agents and share the data, and then achieve the goal, basically whatever goal is given, that can be achieved by one or more agents. Basically one agent, see, we should not put everything in one agent, right? So to implement any application, we have to create multiple agents actually. That depends on how much complexity is there. If it is too complex, then we have to split into multiple agents and then implement that, right? So that is how basically. So here agent is nothing but AI component which actually does all these actions. Okay, all these operations. Okay, to achieve a particular goal. Okay, that is actually an agent. So here one more important point. all all agentic AI applications are actually Gen AI applications, but
Mhm.
all Gen AI applications are not agentic applications. Okay, you got it right.
Yep.
Whatever we built so far, all are Gen AI applications, right? So under Gen AI, all will come. Agentic AI comes, and your static RAG or simple chatbot, everything comes under Gen AI application. But here the important point here is all Gen AI application. I mean, basically, all Gen AI applications are not agentic AI applications, but all agentic AI applications are actually Gen AI applications. Okay, so okay,
Yep.
so this is all about agentic AI, and now the most important thing here is uh, MCP, Model Context Protocol. When we talk about agentic AI, MCP is very important. We have to understand. Okay, so here we will talk about MCP. Then we'll come back to the frameworks actually. Okay, there are many agentic AI frameworks in the market. We will discuss about those. Okay, so here the next important topic is actually MCP. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. Okay, this was implemented by Anthropic, and this is being adopted by It's an open source actually, and this is being adopted by many organizations. So it's basically many applications like even Google also is supporting, and other applications, other vendors also, like even OpenAI also. There are many implementations actually of MCP. Okay, and Google also introduced their own protocol actually. We will talk about that as well. That is actually A2A. A2A is basically agent to agent. Agent to agent is actual protocol. This is also protocol actually, which is being introduced by Google. Okay, so here we will see what exactly MCP. It's very simple actually. Okay, don't get confused with the definition and all. It is very simple. So here we will imagine, here you have an application. Okay, this is a chatbot application. Same example we will take in the previous slide. I mean, we have taken this example, right? Here you have Postgres DB. You have another database, Oracle database. Okay, this is Oracle. This is Postgres. Here you have another external application which is exposed as an API. Okay, API. There are some other APIs also. In API also we have many, right? Many variants. Here you have a REST API. There is another API from gRPC. This is also gRPC. gRPC is also an API, right? One of the API types actually. This from Google. gRPC. Yeah. So we have components like this. We have a Oracle database. We have a Postgres database. We have a REST API. We have a gRPC. Okay. So here, imagine you're building an application, AI application, agentic AI application. I would say, I mean, we are here. We are don't think like this is a traditional. This is a agentic application only, agentic AI application. Okay, but there are different, services here or components here which are there in your agentic AI application. You have to integrate. Basically, you have to call all of these in your application to achieve, some functionality. Okay, so here we are not considering MCP here. Okay, we just imagine there is no MCP. If there is no MCP, then how will you implement that? So here, see, without MCP also we can implement agentic AI applications. It is not like, okay, without MCP we cannot do. No, it's not like that. Without MCP also we can create agentic AI applications, but there are some problems. Basically, there are some, um, constraints or limitations. Okay, or blockers, or I would say. So what is the problem here? Here you have an application here. If you want to call gRPC, here you have to write a client code here, right? Inside this component, you have to write a gRPC client to call this, right? And you have API REST API you have. If you want to call same client doesn't work for, you have a gRPC client, same client doesn't work for REST API, because REST client is different. There we have to use some REST template and all, right? So what you have to do, you have to write in another client. Basically, this is basically a client code inside your agentic AI application, and calling this REST API. Still we are doing all this without MCP. Okay, so first we have to understand the problem, then only you will understand the importance of MCP, right? If you don't understand all this directly, and if you go with the definition and, okay, MCP will directly integrate, no use. I mean, you don't understand the real power of MCP or real usage of MCP. So first we are trying to understand the current problems with, without MCP. So this is also clear. I mean, this is achievable, right? You write a REST client here and call REST API. It is doable. We normally do that, right? In front end applications, we normally call REST API by, creating, client code here, client code there. Same, you have a Postgres DB. You want to connect to Postgres DB. You have to write another client basically here. This is actually Postgres client, which actually calls the Postgres database and gets the data. Same thing. You have Oracle database here. You will write a Oracle client here, because Postgres client doesn't work for Oracle client because the drivers are different, the code is different, the URL is different, everything is different. So we have to create a separate client code to call Oracle. So this is how, I mean, we can do without MCP. What is the problem with this? Okay, here there are 4 only. It is okay to write 4 different clients to do this. Okay, imagine uh, this application is growing, and in the future you are going to add a few more applications or few more services which data which contains your data. Okay, how will you do that? I mean, say in next 6 months you are going to add 10 more services. Okay, what to do? You have to repeat the same thing in your client code. Again, you have to write 10 different clients, 10 different clients to call 10 different services, right? So this is the problem. uh, if the application is very small with only 1 or 2 external services calls, without MCP it is still okay. But your application is growing, and if you want to call more services, more and more services in the future, this approach, okay, writing a separate client for each service is not a good idea. It is a very bad idea, right? We are basically, adding more dependencies in the your code, application code. Okay, if the service goes down, also your code might get impacted. If you don't handle the errors correctly, what will happen? You're calling Postgres DB, and Postgres DB is down. If you don't handle the exceptions, it will show, right, the database is not available or your service is not available. There would be many problems, right, if you don't handle properly. So these are all the problems actually without MCP. So now you understood all the problems without MCP. Now what is MCP? So MCP basically addresses all these problems. Okay, whatever we discussed here, it addresses all the problems actually. Okay, how it will addresses, how it will address, we see, I mean, how we will see the architecture of MCP, and then we'll discuss about that, how basically it addresses all the problems. Okay, so if you take a real time example, a more realistic example, same thing. Okay, you have in your home, or you have many devices. Okay, like many, you have iPhone, and you have Android phone. Okay, and you have some old legacy phone, I mean, the old phone, basically not smartphone. It is the old Nokia phone, whatever you have in your home. Okay, so again, here this old phone has that old pin, right, that old pin socket, right. This will have a separate adapter. This Android phone, the latest one phone, will have a type C, right. This will have type C port. You have a type C adapter. iPhone has a separate adapter. Okay, imagine if you want to charge all these devices, what we have to do? I mean, you have to use this old legacy phone adapter to charge it. You have to use type C port adapter to you charge Android phone. You have to use Android adapter to charge iPhone. Okay, so there is a solution to, I mean, why do we need really all these adapters? We really don't need, right? So here there is a way. So I think in most of the cars we have seen there are connectors, right? You have only one connector with different pins. Okay, this is old mobile, this is Android, this is iPhone, but input to this is actually only one. Okay, power input is actually one source only, right? Imagine like this. Okay, your MCP is exactly like this. Okay, now you will understand actually what MCP, this is the similar to, I mean, whatever mobile examples which we have taken. You have 4 different mobiles, you have 4 different adapters, we have to connect to 4 different adapters. With MCP, I mean, like we have a, multiple adapters, I mean multiple adapters with multiple sockets or multiple pins with one adapter. We have, right, we can use it for charging multiple devices at the same time, right, without without having individual adapters for each device. So this device actually does that, right? MCP also does the same thing. MCP basically provides like an interface here which connects to many services or many applications actually. Okay, so this is, I mean, this is how I mean MCP works. I mean, MCP does the removes this complexity, whatever complexity is there here, right? By providing simple interface to the external services, no, this will address the problems. This will address all these the tightly coupled problems actually. Um, any questions before going to discuss on the architecture of MCP?
So MCP is especially meant for interconnectivity of various agentic AIs.
No, 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 not agentic AIs. I
Hmm.
have given examples now here. These are not agentic AIs, right? gRPC is your application, separate
Okay,
application.
okay. Protocols.
REST is API, separate application.
Yeah, yeah,
Postgres,
separate code.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
With connecting to multiple agents will be done within the agentic AI framework. Okay, like
Okay, okay.
for Google it will use A to A, that is agent to agent
Hmm.
AI, agent to A,
Hmm.
agent to agent protocol. But MCP is not to connect to multiple agents. MCP is
Hmm.
MCP
It's
is to
different
connect to different
block.
services,
Yeah,
external services. Yeah.
external
So
services.
there will be two implementations, client and server.
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
So the LLM knows the client,
Hmm.
and the server is implemented at the service side, I believe.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. 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 Yeah, yeah.
if you develop a bot which talks to, say, Airbnb or ticket booking uh, website, so that site has to implement the server,
Hmm. Yeah.
and it should expose the protocol. How, yeah.
Yes. Any doubts? You understood the basic idea, right? Basic
Mm.
concept.
Basically, you are providing context to an LLM as to how you should be interacting with an external service.
That application context. No,
Take
the
that,
to get the
interface.
context only will connect to that basically
Yeah.
to connect to external services. If it is RAG, will directly connect to vector database, right? But here RAG doesn't solve all the problems, right? You have data in different systems like this. You have data in gRPC system. You have in API. You have in databases. So that time here
Mm.
the RAG solution doesn't work, right? We have to connect to those services and fetch the data.
Mm.
So
Yep.
Murthy, is it clear? You got it or?
Yes. Here I have disturbance. I can't talk.
Huh?
You carry and I have a disturbance here.
But you got the concept or?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. Okay. So here there are two components. There are two components in MCP basically. Here we have to. This is actually called MCP client. Okay, MCP client. Here there is an MCP server. Okay. So there are two implementations basically. I would say there are two different components. MCP client. This is also called as MCP host also. Host basically whichever application is actually running this client, right? That is actually MCP host. Basically, your chatbot application, actually, your chatbot will have this MCP client. Okay, this is the chatbot application. Chatbot application is actually your agent. Your chatbot application is basically it's an agent only here. It's an agent only. Agent is nothing but what? Do you see? See, agent is nothing but again it's a component only, which is, I mean smart a component, and each agent actually is associated with LLM. Okay, you have an agent. Agent basically it's an application, right? It's an AI application. Okay, when we say AI application, it has access to LLM. Okay, if agent if agent doesn't have or doesn't use LLM, right? Then this is not smart. This is not, we cannot call this an agent only. This is just any other static application, right? Like you in our application we have many components. It's like just one of the components, right? So when I say agent, I mean when we say agent here, each agent is, I mean each agent has access to LLM basically. Without using LLM's knowledge, agent is nothing, right? Agent cannot do anything. Agent, it is just a static, or it is like any call to any, I mean, application, right? So here in your mind, I mean when you say agent, it is AI based agent only. Basically it is internally it uses LLM also. We discussed, right? You have a static chatbot and you have a static LLM. Each chatbot will connect LLM, right? So this we cannot call it an agent because it doesn't take any decision, or it doesn't do any action. But when it comes to agent, it is not like static bot. It is like it can call other services, it can take the decision, it can initiate the actions, it can connect to another agent and code pass on some information. Okay, it can coordinate with other agents, right? Those are all the properties of agent actually, right? Yeah. So here my point is, when you create an agent, it should have an LLM also. That is important. Agent could connect to one LLM or more than one LLM also. In some applications, right, you will have multiple LLMs. I mean, based on the need or based on the requirement, I mean, you could connect to different LLMs also. That is also possible, right? If you see Perplexity, it is connecting to almost all many LLMs, right? Here if you see here, it has access to all these LLMs. Why all these LLMs? One LLM is enough, right? I mean, their own LLM is enough, right? Sonar or whatever. Sonar is from them only. But here, to improve the, I mean, to improve the response accuracy from the LLMs, right? So each LLM actions are generates content differently, right? Based on their knowledge, I mean their LLM's knowledge and the data, the techniques which they used, everything is different. That's why each each LLM performs differently. Okay, Gemini performs differently, GPT-5 has it performs differently. So that's why we have multiple LLMs actually here. I mean that is the main
But
main selling
it
point
can
for
connect. But it can connect to only one LLM at a time, right? Or
that user is
connecting.
selecting, but in the code we can manage based on that.
Right,
Here,
but here even Perplexity, can it?
no, here this is not agent. Here, my point here is, from one application we can connect multiple
Got it.
LLMs also, so that we can decide in the code. It is programmatically
Okay,
can be
got it.
configured.
Here the option is given to the
Here
user to
option is
select,
given to the users. Actually, users only should choose.
select,
If you
but
if you don't,
programmatically, okay, you can
here
connect to
if you choose
multiple.
this best, right, it will internally choose. Best is also there, right? Here nothing is selected
Right,
here.
right.
So application could internally decide which LLM should be used based on the results from the previous model knowledge. They have a logic to do
Okay,
that.
okay.
Okay, yeah. So here my idea, my point is actually, even in our applications in your organizations also, many companies will use only one LLM only, right? So it is expensive, right, to get the subscription and all. So, but some companies might have multiple LLMs access also, like one is GPT, one is Gemini, whatever. That time your agent can connect to multiple. I mean, agent can connect, talk to multiple LLMs and get the response. Okay, yeah. So here the point here is uh, whoever is basically calling this MCP client is actually called MCP host. Your MCP host is nothing but your agent only, your agent code only. Actually, agent is actually acts as a MCP host also. Okay, with the client code, because this is actually agent is actually running this MCP, right? And then calling this from the client actually, which will go to this MCP server. So here in the previous example, we have taken four different services, right? So here implementing four different services actually will be done by this server actually. I mean, that is the server's responsibility here. Here MCP will call here and MCP server will return the response. But here what happens is this MCP will connect to the different services. Here in our same example, here gRPC, here you have a REST, here you have a PostgreSDB, here you have a Oracle database. Okay, the connection logic, whatever everything is actually moved to MCP server. There is no more hard coded connections in the agent itself. Okay, with MCP we will remove this complexity from here agent to MCP. Basically MCP only handles, I mean, these all these services, basically connections to these services. Here we will make a single call from MCP client. You will mention just REST. Directly it comes to MCP server. It calls the REST API. Here in MCP, you will mention as a tool actually. Tool like the tool name, service name, whatever. PostgreSDB. Directly it comes to PostgreSDB and it executes that. You got the point, right? That is how. MCP removes this complexity and provides a uniform interface to connect to the different services. Okay, I have one good image actually. I will show you. This is a good image I got somewhere. Yeah, here you see. This is really interesting. Here, if you see, this is your AI application. It is a basically agentic AI application. Okay, agentic AI application actually, which is connecting to GitHub, which is connecting to Gmail, local file system also it could connecting to Slack, here connecting to web APIs. These are all REST APIs, basically web APIs, connecting to RDBMS also. Okay, here we could see six different services which are actually connected, uh, and your application is accessing here. So in this diagram, um, for easy representation actually, here separate actually mentioned, I mean, represented as a separate, but this client application actually connects to this MCP server. From MCP server you will have connections to different services. Okay, so here you will get a doubt like, okay, who will write this MCP server and who will write these who will write the connection code to connect to all these different services. That is actually part of MCP server implementation. So there are some MCP server implementation. Even we could also write our own MCP server, but if there are in existing service, if there are in existing MCP servers, we could directly use them. Okay, no need to write our own MCP servers. Okay, but your application is very specific to your organization, so that time you have to write your own MCP server, okay, and then you call through this MCP client. And I have one more diagram also that is also interesting.
So in this MCP architecture, like all this communication to different applications will be done through like HTTPS or gRPC protocol.
That is REST only. Most of them are REST only.
Okay.
This from MCP to MTP client, it will be REST. Once a request comes
Mm.
here, it will call its own implementation, different implementations.
Okay.
That will handle here actually, and MCP will handle that in
Hmm.
MCP server.
Basically, the protocol will be like the one Swagger gives, right?
Hmm?
The endpoints and what is the input, what is the
Uh,
output you are getting, something like API definition.
yeah.
Mm. The host here in this case, like host will decide like which application the MCP server
There are
should connect, or like the MCP server
there
logic in
are
MCP
there are
servers.
there are many servers which are exposed actually. MCP. There are many open source implementations.
Hmm.
Here you see here Anthropic itself, they implemented many services actually. Here you see here. Here this is from model context protocol, and here these are the different server implementations. Here you see here there are many SDKs.
Hmm.
We can write our own MCP servers also. There are some. They have SDKs also in different languages to write MCP servers. Go, Java, Kotlin, Python, Ruby, Swift, TypeScript. These are all the different frameworks to write MCPs. Some third party also there here. Third party here they have implementation actually. Agent RPC connect to any function, any language, any network boundaries using. MCP is actually changing the future of agentic AI. Okay. Uh, Without MCP, it is very difficult actually to write to connect to different services. But MCP is completely changing the way the agentic applications can be built. Okay. Here you can see. I mean, you can go through this. You will understand. These are all implementations only. Different implementations. In this diagram you have seen, right, to connect to these and all, there are some existing APIs, we can directly use them. And this diagram also, it is interesting, multiple workflows basically, very simple workflow, and LLM with document processing, okay, advanced AI agents architecture, and AI agents future architectures, this is future also they have given. Yeah, I will share this, I think you can see, go through this. Okay, yeah, so now you understood what is MCP, you understood what is agentic AI. So now we have to understand agentic AI frameworks. Okay, here agentic AI frameworks. There are many frameworks actually in the market. The widely used ones are popular one. The most popular ones are actually Microsoft Autogen. Microsoft Autogen. This is very popular and widely used by many organizations.
Langflow.
Yeah,
closure
yeah.
and
Lang graph is there. Lang
macro.
graph actually. Langflow is again that is LCNC tool for Lang graph. There you can build tools actually. But Langflow itself is not directly agent AKI framework, which will internally use LangGraph only. But that is LCNC tool for agent AI. Langflow. It is LCNC tool. Low code, no code. With visual diagrams, you can create agent AIs. MS Microsoft also has MS AutoGen Studio. This is again LCNC tool. You are getting what is LCNC tool? LCNC tool basically for non-programmers. LCNC LC non-programmers are new to frameworks also. LCNC low code, no code, low code. Yeah. So Langgraph, uh,
Macro to make
Cru-
flow wise.
Crew AI, Crew,
Crew A, yeah.
Crew AI is also. These are the top three actually. Uh,
Orchestrator, orchestrator.
Autogen, Microsoft Autogen, LangGraph, Crew AI. These are the top three AI frameworks. There are others also. Okay, and Google also has. They introduced a framework called ADK, Google Agentic Development Kit. Google Agent Development Kit. Agent Development Kit. Okay, Google. There are others also, but these are the popular ones actually, which we can.
A2A protocol కదా Google ది.
That will be used internally. Internally, that will use A to A protocol, agent to A protocol. But still, we will use MCP there also. MCP will use in all the frameworks. Okay. So here we should use one of them. Uh, we should master in one of them or one or two enough actually. No need to learn all the frameworks, which is not required. Okay. It is easy to learn also. If you know one framework, you can learn other framework easily. Okay. So here I would suggest Autogen actually, Microsoft Autogen. Langgraph also you could try. Okay, and Langgraph and Autogen we will try. Google Edic also we can try. There are many resources actually. Good resources are there for Google Edic for quick learning. I mean, anyway, Google Edic is also open source actually. So all these are open source frameworks. Okay, open source frameworks. Google Edic is also open source only. Microsoft also open source only. Why Autogen is getting popular is like Microsoft is backing up, right? And good support is there. Timely updates are there. Um, here, Microsoft is working on all these frameworks. Instead of working on LLMs and all, LLMs basically they have a tie-up with OpenAI, right? Microsoft doesn't uh, doesn't build any LLMs and all. Okay, they have that's why they are directly using OpenAI, GPT-4, GPT-4, GPT-5. So their Microsoft focus is actually building on frameworks only. This AutoGen, and there is another framework called Semantic Kernel. Semantic Kernel. This is this is also agentic only, but uh, it has some additional features actually. Like we can integrate AI with non non-AI applications. Like for example, non-AI applications means in your organization you have a web application. Okay, in your organization you have a web application. You want you want to integrate AI. What does it mean? Like you have a Java code based on the, or you have any language actually. You have I mean you have to call, I mean you have to use some AI capabilities to analyze the data, or, generate some user friendly responses and all. Currently your application is running, it has been running for many years and it doesn't have any AI capabilities. Okay, if you want to add the flavor of AI, this semantic kernel framework does that actually. SK semantic kernel, this is also very powerful framework actually from Microsoft. Combination of semantic kernel and autogen, we can build solid agentic AI applications actually. Okay, so I would recommend semantic kernel also. Autogen and semantic kernel, very powerful. Both the frameworks are very powerful. You could explore these two. We will do some hands-on actually. We will build some examples, some agentic applications actually using Autogen, and Google Edic also we will do some of them. Langgraph and Crew AI you can read whenever you have time, but you should master one of them actually, not all of them. All of them are not required, but that depends. I mean, what is your use case and all. But for any use cases, I think this is a very popular one. Here, there is a documentation actually. First, you have to read the documentation. Autogen, what is the time now? It is okay, na Prasad? Almost 7:30, 8:30,
Yeah,
9:30.
yeah.
Autogen.
2 అయింది కదా. Yeah, maybe hands on next week చేద్దాంలే.
Huh. Yeah. Here, this is the one. Autogen getting started. Yeah, here you see here a framework for building AI agents and applications. Getting started. Yeah, this is Autogen AgenticAI Studio capabilities. Do some study on this.
ఇవి డిప్లాయ్ చేయడానికి ఏది బాగుంటుంది? ఏ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ యూజువల్లీ వన్స్ యూ డెవలప్ ఇట్ యూజింగ్ ఎల్సిఎన్సి ఆర్ కోడింగ్ వన్?
This you can, once it is developed right, you can run it as a Python application only. Python application you can host it on any cloud server. Yeah.
ఎల్సిఎన్సి
That is only for development only, no?
అంటే పైథాన్ లా కాకుండా విజువల్ గా కూడా ఉంటున్నాయి కదా కొన్ని డ్రాగ్ అండ్ డ్రాప్ అలా కూడా డెవలప్.
But here whatever LCNC tools we use, right?
The output is Python.
Eventually code is in Python only at the end.
Okay.
It will in the background, behind the scenes, it will generate the code, right? You have to run it as an application only.
చచ్చిపోతుంది అనుకుని పావును బతికించేశారు మళ్ళీ. చచ్చిపోయి పావును బతికించేశారు. మళ్ళీ జావా స్క్రిప్ట్ నుంచి పైథాన్ నేర్చుకోవచ్చు.
Python.
ఎప్పుడు పైథాన్ రాదు.
Python, it is before that is in 1983-84, before all the languages actually. Now ruling the industry now. Future of the industry also. No language is there near to Python. Frameworks are coming up actually in other languages also, but companies are more interested on Python only, and Java is also releasing many frameworks actually, but people are not using. Very few companies are actually using. Java also has Spring AI. Spring AI basically is AI framework from
Hmm.
Spring framework.
JavaScript లో కూడా ఉన్నాయి
This is
like
Java based actually, and JavaScript also has frameworks, but Python is actually ruling. Yeah. So here, mm, yeah, here go through this documentation is there actually. Uh, Go through this documentation, you will understand. Yeah, tutorial introduction from here. Next week we will build one application, but meanwhile, you have to. There is a
yeah.
lot of learning actually. Okay, but you have to you have to learn concepts. You have to learn. Yeah, here go through this documentation. Okay, and Langraph already Langraph. Now first go through this AutoGen and Google Edica also has very good documentation actually. Uh, for quick learning also, for quick learning you can go through Google also. Here one advantage of Google ADK is they only provide lab and all here. Skill boost.
Hmm.
Here, here this is the one. You are able to see right here. Here this is the URL actually. Here there is a an 8 hours course actually here. Course this course 8 hours. 8 hours. If you complete this course right, you will be comfortable with building agents with ADK.
Mhm.
For that Google hackathon, I have done that actually. Okay, before
Yeah,
hackathon,
ఈ అకౌంట్ ఏదో ఉంది అయితే అది యూజ్ చేసి డిప్లాయ్ చేయొచ్చు ఇది.
you can directly when you click on Start Lab, right? It will launch the web. I mean, it will launch cloud itself here. It will ask the credits actually here. That credit by default it will give you when you log in with your register with your account. It will give you some 50 credits. 50 credits for every lab. It will take 5 credits actually. Launch with 5 credits. When you say 5 credits, see here it is building a lab here. This lab time is actually 1.5 hour. After 1.5 hour, it will be closed automatically. But within 1.5 hour, we have to complete that lab,
ఓ,
which can be easily done. It won't take more than 1.5 hour. This is really interesting. I mean, I think
అంటే
here
వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్ ఆఫ్టర్ ద ల్యాబ్ టైమ్ ఇస్ డన్ మన కోడ్ ఉంటుందా సేవ్ అయ్యి అది?
ఉండదు, డిస్ట్రాయ్ అయిపోద్ది ఇమేజ్.
మ్మ్. మరి ఎలా సేవ్ చేసుకోవచ్చా?
ముందే సేవ్ చేసుకోవాలి, లేదంటే హియర్ యూ సీ హియర్ lab is provisioned here. These are credentials, username, password. Here we have to open Google Cloud Console. Here if you click on this,
మళ్ళీ ఓపెన్ అవుతుందా?
here we have to open in incognito mode. Open incognito. We have to open in incognito mode. All the steps will be there here. Now it is connecting to Google Cloud. It will launch VM, and it provides that the dev online IDE also, like VS Code. VS Code is integrated actually here. This you can try. I mean, here take this. This is the link. this is skill boost actually. Skill boost for quick learning. You can try this. Okay, here where is that? No, where is the main window? Main window. Where is it? Main window here. Ah, here. Yeah. So here you have go through these fundamentals. ADK fundamentals. Here some video explanation is also there. Here the video explanation is there.
మన
Hello,
గ్రూప్ లో
everyone.
పెట్టాను సార్.
Today we're going to explore a fascinating development in the world of AI
ఈ చార్ట్
agents.
యాడ్
As we continue to push the boundaries of what's possible
Yeah,
with artificial
here
intelligence,
go through all of
AI
them.
agents
Here before labs,
Okay, so this week I'm at Google Cloud Next in Los
they will explain
Angeles.
about the MCP
And
also.
while
Here
there are a whole bunch of
MCP is also there.
new announcements, one of the ones that I thought I would just make a very quick
సో ఇప్పుడు ఇవన్నీ ఈ ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్స్ అన్ని ఇప్పుడు ఎంసిపి బేస్డ్ మీద డెవలప్ చేయడానికి
video
ఏజెంటిక్
about because it's looking to be very interesting
ఏడికే తర్వాత ఈ
on
గూగుల్
Google's part.
ఓకే
Is this
Yeah,
agent
here
developer kit?
these
So basically, Google is getting in
సో
to
No, all
develop
these-
క్రియేట్
agent
చేసిన అవి
SDK as well. Now
చాట్
they're
బాట్స్
obviously
ఇవన్నీ
not the
మనం
first.
యూజ్
We just saw
క్రియేట్ చేసాం
recently
కదా ర్యాగ్
OpenAI
Ah.
released their own
Ah,
full
ah.
sort of agent
అవి
kit.
అవన్నీ వాటికి
We've
ఇప్పుడు
seen
ఇవన్నీ అవసరం
obviously
లేదు ఈ
over the
ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్స్
years LangChain,
Aha,
and
ఇవంతా
a
ఇవంతా
whole bunch
advanced
of
next
different
level.
agents. So it is
Okay.
kind of interesting that Google themselves have decided to get into this.
ట్యాగ్
So there's
మోస్ట్లీ
not a lot of
రిట్రీవల్
details out about this at the moment.
Ra-
I'm recording this
ఇది
on
అజెంటిక్.
No, rag it will be still there. Okay, agent
Yeah,
with rag
context,
also
yeah.
is still there.
Integrate that.
The-
If you
yes,
wish
yes,
to-
yes. Still rag is still there. But whatever whatever chatbots we built, right? Those are very traditional, and they don't take any actions. They don't take any actions.
జెన్ఏఐ కాకుండా యాక్షనబుల్ ఇది.
Huh. Yes,
అదేమో
it is
రియాక్టివ్,
actionable.
నువ్వు క్వశ్చన్స్ అడిగితే అది ఆన్సర్ ఇచ్చి వదిలేస్తుంది. ఇదేమో అటానమస్ గా ఉండి గోల్ ఓరియంటెడ్ గా ఉండి నీకు టాస్క్లు చేసి పెట్టడానికి.
Hmm.
ఓకే అంటే ఇప్పుడు వీడి డిఫరెంట్ ఇప్పుడు ఈ బ్యాంక్స్ లో కానీ వేరే వేరే ఆర్గనైజేషన్ ఇప్పుడు వెబ్సైట్ లో ఉంటున్నాయి చూడు అవన్నీ విర్చువల్ అసిస్టెంట్స్ చాట్ బాట్స్
Hmm.
అవన్నీ ఇప్పుడు ఏజెంటిక్ దాని కింద వస్తాయి అవన్నీ
అంటే నీకు వర్క్ చేసి పెడితే ఏజెంట్
That depends. That depends actually.
ఓన్లీ క్యూ నీకు క్వశ్చన్
Only Q and ఇస్తే
అదే
అవరు.
ఫ్రీక్వెంట్లీ ఆస్క్డ్ క్వశ్చన్స్ అడుగుతుంటాం కదా అదే
Hmm.
ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ హ్యూమన్ ఒక మెషిన్ రిప్లై చేస్తుంటది నీకు ఆన్సర్స్ అని
Yes.
జనరల్లీ ఆస్క్డ్ క్వశ్చన్స్ సో అవన్నీ మామూలు ఓకే సింపుల్ దీని కింద వస్తాయి అన్నమాట అయితే
Correct. Here,
ఓకే
once you click on that lab link in the incognito mode, you will see like this. Okay, you will see this Google, this console.cloud. This is actually the page. Here, so here there is a dashboard actually. Okay, so here you can directly open a cloud shell. There is a cloud shell actually.
అదేంటిది ఏపీ రివ్యూ శాంపిల్ చూపిస్తున్నావు జస్ట్ ఓకే
Sample. So here launch Cloud Shell. Cloud Shell, if you launch this Cloud Shell, this will open. This is the documentation. Here you see like this, you will get like this Cloud Shell editor. This is an online editor actually. Here, continue. Here you can, we could do development here directly. Authorize. This looks like visual VS Code only. This Cloud Shell editor is actually again it is one of the services actually in Google Cloud platform. This is for the development. Here you see here VS Code. It is loading.
కొన్ని వీడియోలు చూసాను ఏదో అయితే క్లౌడ్ షెల్ అదే
So here,
ఇక్కడ మొన్న ఎస్క్యూఎల్ ర్యాగ్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఒక అతను
yeah. So here, Gemini Code Assistant also will be there. This is like your VA editor only. Here, I mean VS Code only. VS Code, your you see files and all. We have to go to that command open. Here open terminal is there, right? Go to open terminal. This is actually Linux cloud VM.
ఫైర్
Okay.
బేస్ కూడా వెబ్ ఉన్నట్టుంది కదా
Firebase.
ఫైర్ బేస్ కూడా వెబ్ ఎడిటర్ ఉన్నట్టుంది అంత యూ కెన్ డెవలప్
Yes. Firebase Studio. Firebase Studio has web interface like VS Code only. We can do directly development. So here, ikkada we have to clone the repo. Commands will be steps will be there actually there. Okay, you have to execute the steps and agent project will be created. You have to do some changes in the agent and run it directly. This will come with up with all the required artifacts and all. There are some steps to install those packages also. Requirement dot file txt file also will be there. You have to run that. Just follow these steps actually.
Okay.
You could do yourself actually. No assistance is required. Very they explained very well actually.
అయిన తర్వాత ప్రొడక్షన్ కూడా ఇందులోనే పెట్టచ్చా
Production we can use GCP cloud services only. Here there is a service called Google Cloud Run. Cloud Run. This will provide and Cloud Run will provide an environment to deploy the prod applications. Agents we can directly. Here this is basically a container based service. Build apps and websites quickly on a fully managed platform. This is actually Cloud Run. During the development, we will use that Cloud Shell editor. Once development everything is done, production we will use this Cloud Run. Cloud Run, when you deploy it in Cloud Run, it will create a Docker file. It will run the Docker container and it will host the service there directly.
అప్పుడు మళ్ళీ మన ఐపీకి
Yeah. It that is available over the internet. We can access from anywhere. That hackathon application I told, right? That is also hosted on Cloud Run only. Now I can access anywhere right here. This application when I had this Fin Advisor Lab chart job. This front end is actually hosted on Firebase. Back end is actually AgenticAI application is back end, right? Back end is actually hosted on Cloud Run. So both are running on cloud services.
ఫ్రంట్ ఎండ్ ఎక్కడ పెట్టు
Firebase, yeah. This URL is
web.app వస్తుంది
web.app, yeah. This Firebase, yeah. This will connect to front end will connect to AgenticAI application through REST API. We'll expose it as a REST endpoint, and we'll directly call in the API, call in the AI. Okay, so this is very interesting.
నెక్స్ట్ చేద్దాం ఇదే ఇదే ఇందులో
So
ఈరోజు
build one application. So whatever you have learned so far, that is the foundation actually, okay, for building. Without understanding them, if you directly jump in into agents and all, you don't understand, okay, why agents, I mean, why not normal chart application. Now you have already built chart application, you have built chart with RAG, natural language to SQL, there are many, right? Now you clearly understood the difference basically, okay. Okay, what exactly, whatever we cannot do in, you know, the in the traditional in the traditional chatbots, all will be done in agentic AI application. Basically, all will I mean, all means actions, action based basically, like, you know, connecting to internet and do something, and connect to another service and get the data and all, right? Even in your, here we discussed about, here we discussed about very static chatbot, right, here in the beginning. If you want to, if you want to add a web capability, like, you know, currently this chatbot is actually doing only LLM, getting data from LLM. If you want to add a web based functionality like search, Google search, okay, here the Google search is exposed as one of the services actually. In agent we can directly call as a tool actually. Search is a tool, and we can directly integrate. When you integrate this agent, right, whatever you ask here, if LLM doesn't have knowledge also, it goes to web, internet, basically Google search. It does the search, gets the response, and then goes to LLM. LLMs, you know, gives back the generated response. All can be done through agents only. Now, you, if you see perplexity is doing the same thing. If LLMs, the, even if you run this Google Gemini Pro separately, this also has the knowledge limitation, right? Gemini, I think I'm using Gemini Pro. This is free version. I mean, not free version. This is a student version actually. I have access to Gemini 2.5, 2.0 Pro, which is the latest model from Gemini, which has more reasoning capabilities and all. Okay, till which date you have the knowledge. You have the knowledge. This also, latest model also doesn't have the real time knowledge. Okay, that also will have some data will be there, right? Every time it won't get trained, no. See, Pro also has access. Cutoff date is early 2023. I cannot provide you with any information about the events developments that have occurred since that time. Yeah. So, but if I ask the latest question, if I ask some current question here, it can still answer. How it is answering? It is through again tool only. Like the tool is basically a service which is being called actually. Okay. This Google search is basically a tool here. Similarly, your MCP, all these are all tools actually, right? All these are tools which are implemented in the MCP server. Those are actually called tools. Agents will actually call tools through this MCP channel. Without MCP also we can directly call Google search. Actually, Google search as a service actually. Google search service using Python library. You could explore all these things actually. You can take, you can run your LLM locally. When you run LLM locally, it doesn't connect to internet, right? It doesn't answer LLM. Even the traditional, I mean, the direct LLM also doesn't know, doesn't have the latest information, right? I mean, the most advanced model also doesn't have. It is strange, I think. Till July 2023 only it has. So you can build an agent to connect to LLM and I mean internet and gets the latest data. That you could try actually. Here, here you see here, Google search is also has library, Python library. to programmatically perform Google searches using Python. The Google search Python is the library. It is widely used and straightforward option. You just need to install. It is simple actually. Query Python language for URL search. URL in search and query print URL. Additional num results 100. We can set the limit also. This you could try actually with your local LLM with web capability. Okay. You build an
Google
agent.
search service using Python.
Yeah, build an agent. The agent actually calls this Google search. This is also, that is also we can call it as an agentic application, right? The traditional chatbot doesn't connect to internet and gets the data, but your agentic application connects to Google search and through this call, and then gets the data and gets the results. Okay, try these. So this is the most important topic in the AI context, AI world. Your all efforts actually from now onwards only you have to put more efforts on doing this. I mean, if
Yeah.
you really want to get into AI world or AI, I mean projects, this is the starting point. Okay, so whatever you have done, still that is really, I mean, that is very much required, right? When you want to build a RAG, you can directly integrate RAG with your Gen AI, I mean your agentic applications, right? So
Yeah.
from now onwards actually you have to put more efforts, you have to study more, you have to practice more, you have to do hands-on more, then only you will get into that. Otherwise
Some exams
huh,
like slip test,
yeah, you
quiz types.
otherwise you will end up with only definitions only. Okay, but
Uh,
companies are interested on more hands-on guys, right? And the, if you really, I mean, really want to change also on the into the AI world, this is the right time. Okay, still people are learning, exploring. Many people are not aware of this. Still, they don't have hands-on and all, right? But after once it is completely into the industry, and many people are getting expertise on this, then it will be very difficult. Competition will be very huge, right? So
yeah.
for the employment, I mean, for the opportunities wise also, this is the right time actually to get into AI projects and all. Even within your organizations also,
Yes.
show this as show this as your skill, and convince your manager, get into AI projects, then you will get the exposure. Doing only some local POCs and all really doesn't help, right? Until unless you work on at least one real time project, you don't experience that flavor actually. So
Yep.
spend more time.
ఇప్పుడు మా ఆర్గనైజేషన్ అట్లాగే ఒక సిఏబిసిఏ అని కాయ్ అని ఒక ఇప్పుడు పెర్ప్లెక్స్